Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to review one of my favorite film or analog camera, which is Fujifilm TX1. No, it is not XT1. Fujifilm XT1 is a digital version, so this one is still analog film camera. So I really love shooting with this camera because it gives you a very unique frame, which is panoramic frame. I'll show you later on. This camera forces you to think before you shoot or taking pictures. To get great pictures out of this camera is not easy or quite challenging at first time, but once you got used to the frame itself, the panoramic frame, and put a lot of creativity thought into it, this camera will give you an amazing pictures. So without further ado, let's take a closer look into this camera. Okay, here we are with Fujifilm TX1. Fujifilm TX1 is an interchangeable 35mm lens panoramic rangefinder camera. So it's quite a long name. It released in 1998, of course, produced by Fujifilm camera maker, but it's actually a joint project with Swedish camera Hasselblad. So Hasselblad is quite well known for quality camera, and it trusts Fujifilm to create jointly this unique camera. Under Hasselblad brand, the name of the camera is XPAN, while here is TX1. It has two camera, TX1 and TX2, and XPAN 1 and XPAN 2. XPAN and XPAN 2 basically in Hasselblad branding. For Fujifilm TX1, and actually Hasselblad, because it's produced the same, the body is made from titanium and aluminum, and several rubber, back cover and this grip. In Fujifilm TX1, the color is actually same paint silver, while in Hasselblad XPAN actually a black color. So I think I like this color much more compared to the Hasselblad black. It's really fancy color. This one. This camera comes with three lenses. This one is 45 millimeters f4, maximum for aperture 4. This one is considered a normal lens, I think, and this one is 90 millimeter lens, considered as more portrait mode, I guess, in the panoramic framing. And the other one is actually 30 millimeters, considered as a wide angle lens. So this one is 45 millimeter f4, 90 millimeter f4, and then 30 millimeter f5.6. However, the 30 millimeter I don't have it, because the 30 millimeter lenses is enormously expensive lenses, and it require additional slot in viewfinder, because it's so wide that the frame is different compared to the optical viewfinder inside this camera. So the optical viewfinder in this camera has two frame, which is for the 45 and 95 millimeter parallax compensations adjustment, I guess. So it's very bright viewfinder, and with a split screen focusing. The lenses is actually more expensive, considered more expensive for this rangefinder camera, because the size of the frame itself is almost like a medium size frame, right? So the size is quite long, so the lens has to be able to capture that wide angle picture. So it's kind of like almost like creating a medium sized lenses in this small body lenses, including this 90 millimeters, and also of course the 30 millimeters actually has to be able to capture a wider field of view to capture the whole length of the frame. So the 35 millimeter frame is usually it's 24 times 36 millimeters. This one is 24 millimeters, so the height is the same, but the length is actually 65 millimeters, so it's double the frame of 35 millimeter camera. And there are several accessories, of course. There is a lens hood that you can attach here, but it's also quite expensive, so I didn't purchase that lens hood, covering this 45 and different lens hood for 90 and for 30, of course. So it's not a cheap ecosystem of the camera, because it was unique and it was comparable to medium size camera, I guess, medium film camera. So let's take a look into the details of this camera. Let's start from the top. As you can see here, there's a name here. There's a hot shoe. This is just a normal trigger hot shoe. No synchronization to aperture or speed, automatic synchronization, but it has a speed synchronization maximum of 1 to 125th a second. So because it's used focal plane shutter mechanisms, it has a slower synchronization with the flash. On the right side, there's a black marker here showing indicated shutter speed. So the shutter speed is from bulb. You can adjust with the bulb to whatever second you want. There's an 8 second. This orange number is 8, 4, and 2 second, and then 1 second. This is 1 second, and then half a second, 1/4, and up to 1,000 second shutter speed. So the maximum is 1,000 shutter speed. That's the fastest one. The slowest is the 8 second shutter speed. There is auto mode here. The auto shutter speed is because this camera can do auto mode in aperture priority. So you set the aperture that you want. Let's say you want to shoot at aperture 4 f4, and then you put auto. It will adjust the speed automatically for you. It doesn't have any shutter speed shutter speed priority, so it only have aperture priority shutter speed. The auto aperture priority mode. Okay, so if you want to get out from auto, you have to press the silver button, and then while it press, you rotate it into manual. It will be able to do manual shutter speed. If not, then it locks into auto, so you don't accidentally rotate it into a manual shutter speed. Next to it is a big shutter button. I think it's electronic shutter button, because I tell you why, because it's motorized mechanic inside this camera. So if you press this one, it will roll back the film back into case. I'll tell you what happens in a minute. In this, there's a small LCD. It will show you a P and some number here. There's a P there because it's in panoramic mode. If it's if you set this button here, if you rotate this button, there's two positions. If you can see, there's a white marker here. If you rotate it into normal frame, it will show nothing here. It means it shoot basic 35 millimeter frame, so 24 times 36 millimeter size. But if you rotate this back into P, here it will show P because it shoots panoramic. The counter will adjust automatically how much frame left in panoramic and how much frame left in normal frame. So you can change this mode, panoramic or normal frame, on the fly. Let's say you shoot 2 panoramic frame and then you want to go back into normal frame, you can do that and then go back again to panoramic. It will try to calculate the number of frame left for you to shoot in this LCD in each of the modes you select. Next to it is actually this on-off button in the outer ring, off, and then put on S. S is single shot, C is continuous. I think it's consecutive shot, they call it in the manual, or continuous mode. It will give you 3 frame per second if you use 3 frame per second if you use normal frame, or 2 frame per second if you use panoramic. So if you use C, you have to press this shutter button just press continuously, so it will the camera will take pictures continuously also. And the last one is the timer mode. I think it gives you a 10-second timer shutter speed if you press it. So that's the mode here, and I already talked about this panoramic and single mode framing selector mode. And there's another one here. This is for your cable release trigger mechanism. So because there's no screw type cable release on top of this shutter buttons, it gives you here to use the cable release for, let's say, if you want to use B mode for night escape, or take a space photography, or to the sky in the night, you can use this cable release to lock in the B position. That's the top of the camera. What else? I think that's it. And let's go back to the back of the camera. I already talked about this panoramic and normal frame mode. This is the rubberized cover, and there's LCD screen here showing you several information. First of all, it shows you what ISO is being used, ISO 100, ISO 400, and the battery indicator just below that if you're running out of battery. This battery is already weak, so today right now it shows you maximum capacity, but if you press trying to rewind, it will show you the lowest indicator. So it's been used. The battery is quite the usage is quite long. I think I'll take 6 film already with 1 battery set. There's a box here showing you the bracketing mode. So if you use EAB here, if you press, you get plus minus 0.5 bracket or stop for taking a bracket. So 1, 2, 3, or using continuous, it will take 3 pictures with 0.5 stop differences. You can also set to 1 plus minus 1 stop bracketing. That's another one, and then if you press again, it will back to normal without any bracketing. This button is for backlighting, if you want to see the LCD in the dark. And then there's a small recess button here. If you press with your pen or pointy things, it will rewind the film back to its case before it use all its film. Now why I'm saying rewind back the film. So what happened is that if you put the film inside, so let me open this one. So this is the small tab that you have to pull with your nail, for example. So it's pull like this. Oops, sorry. And you have to press upward to open up the cover. Let me turn off the camera. So if you open this back cover and you put the film here, and then put the film here up until this green marker here and close it. The film will be rolled first into this spool, so it will roll until all film has been rolled into this spool. First time you roll it, first time you load it. Okay, so what happened is that they roll it every the film into this spool, and then when you close it, it will roll into the spool. When you press the shutter, it will roll back into the case. So compared to the common camera where you kind of wind it into the spool when you use it, and then you have to rewind it, this camera is actually forward winding first and then rewind on each of its shot. Okay, so at the end of the roll, it doesn't require any rewind anymore because it's already forward winding first. So that's the difference, and that's why I'm calling it a motorized electronic camera, because it's kind of everything has been done by electronic or motorized thing. So by pressing this shutter button, it will roll back the film back to the case until it's all used up, all the film. Here you can see there is a pin to read the DX code from your film roll. And this one, as you can see, there's a focal plane shutter mechanisms. It's very wide, right? So I think this one is the titanium one because it has to go 1 to 1000 a second with this long shutter mechanisms, because it's really wide, right? This is the panoramic frame that I mentioned about. This is the back plate, also long, and there's a window here able to see what film is actually inside the camera. Nothing much here to see. This is all motorized, that's why you have to be careful in using this camera. The other things I'm going to show you, it used two 6-volt battery of CR2. So CR2 battery, it's quite common battery, but yeah, so it's actually quite a lot of power required. So this one is the Panasonic CR2 lithium battery, so it's very durable. I've used 6 roll or more with this set of battery. It used 2, by the way, in series, so I think it's almost like 12 volt, right? So the plus, it's inside, and then you close it, tap here. By the way, if you can see in the bottom part, there are several things that you let me first put it in. Okay, if you can see here, the tripod mount is actually on the side, not in the middle, because I think it's quite thin here. So it puts on the side here, the tripod mount. So just be aware that the camera will probably a bit tilted to the right side if it's mounted into the tripod. So the tripod mount has to be considered because it's kind of being put into the left side of the camera. That is the back side of the camera. I already show you how to open it. That's it. So let's go into the front of the camera. So in the front of the camera, there are several things that you can see. Here is the ISO dial. So it's still mechanically selected. So press the inner silver button first. While you press, you can rotate into the ISO that you want to. There's a DX option here. There's DX name it over there. If you want to use the automatic ISO reading from your film, or you can select from 25 ISO 25 as the lowest, and up to ISO 3200. So it's pretty handy if you want to shoot low light with ISO high ISO setting. and you can also use small ISO film for long exposure with the minimal noise, for example. That is also doable. On top of this, there is this is the focusing window, this is the metering window, and this is the viewfinder itself. I think there's some also metering here, if I'm not mistaken, for flash or something, I'm not sure. This one is the, if you open this rubber cover, you will find the PC sync for your flash synchronizations if you need PC sync. This one is, of course, this is the grip. Some people replace this grip from this black rubber into like a wood grip. It even look classier, nicer, I guess, if you use wood grip. Next to it, there is a lens release knob, so you press this one and you rotate it counterclockwise to open up the lens. This is pretty not so heavy lens, so it's compact lens. I'll talk about that lens later on. And you can see some actually, if not mistaken, that is some of the other metering, the white patch. Yeah, not sure about that. There's some mechanisms also to detect the lens attached to this camera. Okay, so you can attach 90 millimeters lenses, much longer lenses. Okay, so that is the lens. Let me put the lens back and put clockwise. There's some ding on my lens here, over here, but this is a pretty heavy lens, so and it's being coated, I think multi-coated. It's called Super EBC Fujinon, so I think it's electro multi-coated. It is actually f4 45 millimeters. So the lens itself is pretty basic if, for analog lenses, f4 up to f22. You can set here. This is the focusing ring. The focusing ring has a distance marker over here from 2.5 meter 2.5 feet up to 30 feet, and then yeah, to infinity. On this body of the lens, there is depth of field indicators, so you can see, let's say if you're using f4 f8 for example, and then you're focusing on 1.2 meters or 4 feet, you will get around 1.5 meters to 1 meters kind of what do you call it, depth of field, or 3.5 to 5 feet kind of depth of field. So you can use that depth of field marker, and that's it. That's pretty basic lenses, but this one is very good lens and very sharp. And the 90 millimeters lens also the same, same build, Super EBC, also electro I think, what's the EBC called anyway. So it's, I think, a multi-coated from Fujinon. It's very sharp also. It has f4 to f22, same things here, and it distance from 1 meters to infinity, 10 meters and infinity. It also has a smaller depth of field marker because it gives you very narrow depth of field using this 90 millimeters lens. Okay, so oops. So that is the 90 millimeter lens, and I think I've shown you almost everything from this camera. What else? Yep. So let's take a look at the result that I take from this camera. Okay, so here we are at my website, Philosophy of Grain. In this photos and select film photos. So film photos, you will be here, and then you can go to Flickr, my repository here, and we can take a look at some pictures taken with TX1. So let me find it for you. Okay, this one is TX1 with Fomapan 400 wide lens, 45 millimeters. So here I'm taking a panoramic view in Jakarta from 45th floor of the one of the highest building in Jakarta. So it's not really bright here, probably underexposed a bit, but it's early morning. Here is another angle, pretty okay. Got some darker area. This one is much better angle from one of the parking area in the building. I can take a wider angle on the view. This one I try a different angle vertically. Some development behind the tallest building in Jakarta, so you can see it's very interesting view. And this one is another one, this one another one. Yeah, so it's this one with some windows, I guess. So this one is I think that's the first one that I try to take the picture. So let's the other one is actually when I traveled to Singapore. I bring this camera because it's my favorite camera, so I'll take this one. It's actually in the MRT. This was quite using Fuji 1600 ISO 1600 C41 color films. So it tried to shoot indoor in the ocean park. So it's pretty okay. You can get this wide panoramics, and this one is another one. So it's pretty definitely good captures inside the tube in the ocean park. And this one is another framing on some of the architectures. This one is, yeah, there's some people. This is the difficulties when you are trying to get a wide angle. Something might creep in. You have to crop here probably, but you have to be careful with this panoramic angle. You can get a lot of distracting element inside your picture. This one is nice one. I take architecture aspect and with people inside, so it's very nice. This one also inside the MRT. I like this one because you can get quite a wide angle pictures. It's my family, and this one is the one flyer, so it's very interesting. And on top of the one flyer, you can get this Garden by the Bay area in Singapore. So this is a bit dark inside the waiting area. So that is another one. What else? This one is my favorite one. I take this into my holiday in Bali, and I take a lot of nice picture here with my daughters with a vertical position like this with some ocean. Probably you can get more here, but yeah, I mean, this one is giving you a lot more variety. This one is a very nice. I put it in the picture in the frame with some kind of abstract with some waves. And this one also very nice in one of the secluded beach area. You can get a very wide angle. This one also vertically. This one inside the hotel pools. You get nice artistic framing. You cannot get this negative space over here becoming a boring picture, right? So with this one, it's giving you a bit more options. This one is too dark, I know. This one is a very nice one also. When you get three people, actually this one is three different people. I don't take a multiple shot, so just a right time framing of this pictures. This one also have, you can see there's a lot of nice long shot here that give you a bit more artistic element to the picture. So this one also, you can put a lot of negative space in front of this person sweeping the beach. You can put a bit more here probably, but yeah, so you can take very nice. This one also very artistic, if in my opinion. You can take kind of high contrast with this dead tree in the beach, so it gives you a bit more nuance in terms of the picture. So yeah, panoramic picture in with the landscape and people will be very nice. So here another empty space here, give you a bit more artistic view. This is another shot. Yeah, it's dock with the beach. It's very you can play around with this kind of framing. Okay, so there you go. So that is another one. What else do I have? Another one. Yeah, I think this one is another one. This one is color film, so there's another shot. Yeah, you can take vertical shot also with a very different looks and feel, and yeah, very interesting. This one, there's another one that's actually, oh, this one is Singapore again. This is from the Marina Bay area. This one inside the one plier. You can see this one is very white. This one is nicely lit, so you can process it in your darkroom much better. So there's several architecture shot here. This is one frame. This is family portrait, indoor. I think this is 400. Yeah, using Rollei RPX 400. Yeah, that's, you see this framing is also impossible if you use 35mm. This one use kind of empty space here, giving a bit more dynamic to the frame. Yeah, so very interesting characteristic of the frame itself. So this is Garden by the Bay. So it's also give you a very wide vista of panoramic shot. This one also on top of the one flyer, looking forward to Marina Bay. This one is another street view shot from the hotel, the small hotel. So you can see this kind of play around with the framing. Yeah, you can try to practice your creativity and giving you more sense of dimension and wide angle kind of things from the shot. I think that's it. So if you see from all of these pictures, I shoot a lot of pictures using this camera because it's really nice to really show the film using this camera. So I think back to the this one is very unique camera. It's quite rare, but I love this camera because it's give me different experience compared to basic 35mm or other format, like say medium format 6x6 or 6x9 or 6x7. It just gives you a very panoramic feel of your pictures. It's not for everyday scene, but it push you to the limit where you have to think about how to shoot panoramic films with this camera. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the review and get some perspective on how to use Fujifilm TX1 or Hasselblad XPAN. Okay, see you around.